Local 4 News begins right now with a breaking news alert.
Happening right now, thousands of people without power tonight because of a fire at this Plymouth substation. Thanks for being with us for the news at 11. You can see that substation was engulfed in flames. Neighbors say they heard an explosion.
Firefighters and police officers on the scene there, keeping that fire at bay. Tim Pamplin is on the scene with the night cam.
Just arriving on the scene here, just west of downtown Plymouth, the entire city has been plunged into darkness after this massive explosion and fire at the transformer station. We've got some viewer video. There you go. Take a look at that fireball and smoke filling the air over Plymouth this evening. This explosion happening around about 9 o'clock tonight. Again, plunging the entire city into darkness. The state police even being called in to assist here. Again, about 4,000 customers in Plymouth without power tonight. Tyler Hornig is one of them.
I heard a big boom, and then just started seeing rolling smoke coming up over the horizon, and we walked down by the fire and just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Okay. I'm not sure ours is here yet. I mean,
DTE conversing with Chief Cox from Plymouth, trying to get a game plan together. But back out here now, the fire appears to be out. Firefighters still putting water on the hot spots. I suspect it's going to be many days before power is restored to Plymouth. That's the scene in Plymouth tonight with the night camp. Tim Pamplin, Local 4.
All right, Tim, what a fire that was. They're becoming increasingly popular and now equally as dangerous. A Delta plane headed in from San Diego to Metro Airport tonight came awfully close to a drone, and tonight the airport is investigating. Jermont Terry is live in Romulus tonight with what happened here. Jermont?
Yo, Jason, that flight from San Diego landed safely here at Metro Airport, but now there's investigation underway to figure out why this drone was even close to this plane. Just as Delta Flight 833 made way for landing Wednesday night, the pilot reported something strange in his path. It turns out a drone came so close to the plane, the pilot was able to describe its color and count the propellers.
There are times when you have some close calls.
I talked to retired Delta Captain Ken Pratt. He tells me anytime a commercial plane comes in close contact with something in the friendly skies, there are concerns for safety. Pratt adds the FAA and pilots go through great lengths to share the airspace. It's unclear if this drone flew higher than the 400 feet operators are required to utilize, or if the drone entered into the restricted airspace at Metro Airport.
I'm quite confident that a drone is not going to, take an airplane out of the sky. We're not going to test that.
What's more alarming are the laser beams pilots have encountered while flying. The FAA is already investigating a few incidents at Metro this year.
The laser has some potential to be permanently harmful as far as visual damage.
Now, Delta tells us there's a good chance that the passengers on the flight had no idea what the pilots encountered. But again, there is an investigation to figure out why this drone was so close to this plane. And in this day and age, the FAA does not take this lightly. Reporting live at Metro Airport, Jermont Terry, Local 4.
Okay, Jermont. Not one, but two rounds of thunderstorms on the way for tomorrow, and the first one creeps in just in time for the morning commute. And while we do need the rain, wish wouldn't come at that time.
We wish we could schedule it at a different time. But yeah, we're going to be watching the skies, especially as we get into the afternoon, for the possibility of severe weather as well. So let's take a look at that. The risk tomorrow has been upgraded, and we told you this earlier, that it's gone from marginal to slight for most of southern Michigan. Now, right now on 4 Live Radar, there's not a whole lot to look at. We've got a couple sprinkles that have started to make it into southwest Michigan, but it's tomorrow that's the big bullseye. And to be quite honest, the forecast don't have a lot of confidence in the timing of this, so we've switched it to by afternoon. There's possibilities, in fact, some of the models suggesting there could be only one round of thunderstorms, and it would be late morning, early afternoon. If that happens, it may mitigate some of the severe impacts, but nevertheless, still be on guard for the possibilities of 60-mile-an-hour winds, and it will be throughout the entire area. We'll check that out in your forecast coming up, guys.
Hundreds of protesters marched the streets of Philadelphia tonight for a rally called Philly is Charlottesville. Demonstrators want to show support for those who pushed back against the white nationalist rally in Charlottesville on Saturday. Meanwhile, the governor of Virginia is calling for local governments to take down Confederate statues and monuments because he says they've become flashpoints for hatred, division, and violence. He suggests putting them in museums. The Justice Department has opened a civil rights investigation into Saturday's rally, and the FBI has set up a tip line for the public to submit pictures, videos, and other information. Earlier today, a memorial service was held for Heather Heyer. She's the woman who was killed when a driver plowed into a crowd of protesters.
Tonight, Michigan State University is reviewing a request from a group led by a white supremacist to hold an event on campus. The group is led by Richard Spencer. He was set to be the keynote speaker in Charlottesville before the violence broke out. The university's president released a statement that reads in part, Michigan State takes seriously its obligations to accommodate a broad range of speech. As our record shows, this university does not determine who can access public spaces based on what they think or say. No word on when a decision will be made there. Tonight, a crowd gathered on the University of Michigan Dearborn campus for a rally. The group denounced the actions of the white supremacists who gathered in Charlottesville and also criticized President Trump for blaming both sides for the violence. Former Congressman John Dingell was among those in attendance. When Marygrove College announced it would no longer be offering undergraduate degrees last week, it was understood fall would be the final semester.
Yeah, but now student athletes are finding out they have to leave now. Mara McDonald is live at Marygrove's campus, and Mara, these students just found this out today.
The women's soccer team, Kimberly, they had practice, then they were called to an after-practice team meeting. They knew it wasn't going to be great, but they had no idea they were going to be told that their team is over. They've already had 11 practices and school hasn't started yet, but the girls knew the after-practice meeting they were called to wouldn't be great news, but had no idea what they were in for.
We all cried.
No more soccer team because too many students have bailed since hearing the news the school is shutting down its undergraduate programs.
I was like, what am I going to do now?
The first thing we knew we had to do, we had to get everybody taken care of as soon as possible.
After the initial tears, the girls called their parents. Coaches started calling other schools looking to rehome their players and not mess up their eligibility. The players say life on the field is helping them deal with this.
There are times when you're on the field and you don't know what's going to happen and nothing's going your way. You know, you're dealt a bad deck of cards.
Eligibility, scholarship monies, test scores, all of that will have to be sorted out at new institutions.
This is heartbreaking. I've really just gotten to know these women. This, for me, is one of the hardest things I've ever had to go through professionally. So to have them feel like they have a place to go where they can get help and support, that's what we want. We want them to know that we've got their backs.
Back here live, the good news in all of this tonight, all those coaches' calls and the AD calls seem to be paying off. Most of the women I spoke to who play are fairly confident that they are going to have a place where they can go to school and play, meet their eligibility requirements for the fall semester. We're live on Detroit's west side on the campus of Marygrove. I'm Mara McDonald, Local 4.
Hope it all works out for Mara. Thank you. Today marks 30 years since the crash of Flight 255 at Metro Airport.
Tonight, a vigil was held at the memorial to mark the somber anniversary.
In our darkest hours.
It was August 16th, 1987. A Northwest jetliner heading to California crashed on takeoff from Metro Airport. 156 people died that day, 2 people on the ground, 6 crew members, and 148 of the 149 passengers. 1 girl, then 4 years old, was the lone survivor. A black granite memorial sits on top of a hill at Middle Belt Road and I-94 to commemorate the victims.
We have a traffic alert to pass along tonight. The Lodge is closing between I-94 and I-75, so crews can set the beams for the new Martin Luther King Jr. Bridge. The southbound side is closed until 5 a.m. The northbound Lodge closes tomorrow night at 9 p.m. until 6 a.m. Friday. The project is expected to wrap up sometime in December. It's amazing nobody was killed. A truck crashes into a concrete barrier on the freeway and bursts into flames. You'll see how it happened.
Also, teenagers gang up on a grandmother at the gas station. We'll tell you what they were after.
But first, we're just days away from the highly anticipated solar eclipse. Surely you've heard stories about what will happen and what it means.
It is a real phenomenon, and we don't really have a good reason for why that happens, but it does.
Tonight, we separate fact from fiction.
All week long.
Well, by now you have likely heard that on Monday, total solar eclipse will move across the entire United States. It is an amazing phenomenon that has raised some pretty amazing questions and created some out-of-this-world myths along the way. Well, by now you've likely heard that next Monday, the 21st, a total solar eclipse will move across the United States. It's an amazing phenomenon that has raised some pretty amazing questions and created some out-of-this-world myths along the way.
Many ancient cultures believed a giant space animal or god was eating the sun.
Ancient Mesopotamians would install a decoy king in case the eclipse demons decide to cause harm in their land. Another common tradition was to bang pots and pans outside during the eclipse. The thought was the noise would scare away whatever was eating the sun.
Those are some of the ancient myths, but even now there are some pretty outrageous misconceptions.
Why did we schedule the eclipse for a Monday when kids are going back to school?
Michael Narlock of the Cranbrook Institute of Science has had to field questions like these. People wondering why he and his staff scheduled the eclipse when they did. Obviously, they have no control over when these events happen, but they're happy when they do.
It's not only something visually amazing to see, and it also is a great opportunity as a sort of PR moment for science.
He's right. People are buzzing about the eclipse, but myths and misconceptions are still floating around. NASA's website has an entire page devoted to them, and we thought we'd bring them to the people in the form of a quiz.
Know a lot about the solar eclipse?
No, but I have this app.
Okay, no apps, no cheating. Let's get to the first question. Staring at a total solar eclipse isn't a risk to your eyes because the moon is covering the sun completely.
That's false. True.
It's false.
No, it's not.
Our expert says
false. It's still the sun. Even if there's just a small sliver of the sun up there, it has a chance of burning your eyes. And the unfortunate thing is your eyes don't have pain receptors. So if, like a child reaching for a hot pan, immediately they know that that was a mistake. You won't know that it's a mistake looking at the bright sun until it's too late. It would be the greatest thing you ever see and the last thing you ever see as well.
Question 2. Watching the eclipse while pregnant can harm your unborn baby.
False. True. I don't know about that one.
False. And the answer?
As far as I know, and I'm not a medical doctor, that's false.
I'm a real doctor. False.
He's right, of course. Question 3. Solar eclipses happen every 18 months somewhere on Earth.
That's probably true. False. False.
The answer? True.
A type of solar eclipse happens as few as 2 times a year, as many as 5 times a year.
And I passed.
Yeah, you did. You got them all right.
All right.
Question 4. Solar eclipses that happen 6 months after your birthday or on your birthday are a sign of bad health.
No.
False.
No, it's not.
And that's a unanimous false.
Not as far as I know. I would have to say that that's false.
Question 5. The total solar eclipse will last 2 minutes and 41.2 seconds at the greatest eclipse point. But they can actually last up to 7.5 minutes.
It's true.
It's true.
That's absolutely true.
Okay, so Michael knows things. Let's get to our final question. An umbraphile is a shadow lover who chases solar eclipses.
A what? False. True.
Your answer?
That's true. An umbra is another name for the darkest part of a shadow.
I got all 3 questions.
Yeah, you got all 3 right.
Yay. I don't think my science teacher will be proud of me.
Believe it or not, we've really just scratched the surface on the amount of myths and legends that have come within a solar eclipse. So if you'd like more information about that, head to our eclipse page at clickondetroit.com.
And you're doing something special for the eclipse, too.
Yes, we are going down to Kentucky, which is going to be on the path of totality. And apparently we're not the only ones going down there. We've heard that there are a lot of folks from Michigan that are going to be traveling. We will be broadcasting live starting on Sunday. And of course, we will have everything for the eclipse between now and then and give you a glimpse of what we're not going to see here in Michigan, which is that totality and the darkness that's going to accompany.
So is it just in the middle of a big field or something? Everybody's just going to gather.
That's what they're planning. they think that that's going to be the best spot to see.
Does that make you an amateur umbraphile? Or
in training.
In training, yeah.
Umbraphile in training. Speaking of that, I do want to look at the weather for the eclipse as we get into next Monday. Most of the country is going to be seeing some nice conditions, not so much there on the East Coast. That looks like where clouds, showers, and possibly thunderstorms are going to be here in the Mid-Atlantic states. Could be some clouds hanging out here across parts of Missouri. And of course, this is where that path of totality is going to be. We are looking mostly sunny. So even though we're not going to get the total eclipse here, I think there's a good chance that we're going to be able to see it as long as you've got your glasses. Make sure you should get those. And if you don't have them, tune in here to Local 4. And of course, we'll have it for you on Monday. Here's a look at what's going on right now. And we've got bigger fish to fry, at least in the short term, with these thunderstorms. Not going to have to worry about those tonight. The humidity, though, is already starting to move in. You can see it here in the western part of the state. Dew points have climbed to 70 degrees here in South Haven and down towards South Bend, and that's a pretty tropical humidity compared to where we have been. In fact, right now, those dew points in the mid to upper 50s, that's positively dry for this time of year. Temperatures outside are in the 70s. We should sink to the 60s for temperatures as we head towards tomorrow. And as far as the forecast goes for the next 36 hours or so, we told you at the top of the show, not real confident in the timing of this. We do expect to see at least some activity here by the end of the morning commute. Any of these thunderstorms will be dropping heavy rain, and the later we get in the day, the more heat and humidity build. Any of these thunderstorms in the afternoon could become strong or severe, so we'll keep our eyes on that. And after an early shower on Friday morning, we should be done with the rain, at least for the short term. High temperatures tomorrow. We start in the metro zone, and those numbers are going to be in the low 80s. Could be as warm as the mid 80s down here in our south zone, but keep in mind with that higher humidity, it is going to feel much different. Mid 80s here in our west zone for temperatures, and our north zone will be seeing a lot of mid to upper 70s for high temperatures tomorrow. We'll get down to 69 tonight. Notice the humidity heading out the door and go to 84 there in the afternoon. And again, timing not real sure on. We're seeing a lot of conflicting data as far as that goes, but keep in mind that with all the clouds and humidity around, we will be seeing at least that chance of severe weather at any point, especially in the afternoon tomorrow.
Yep.
All right, we'll keep our eyes.
Okay. Ben, thank you. A spectacular highway crash right under a freeway bridge that'll have you gasping, then exhaling.
Plus, there's smash and grab, then there's just grab. How you can help solve a low-tech robbery of some high-tech items.
A mold danger, a rental home riddled with it.
It feels like your chest is on fire.
A tenant now fighting for his life and fighting the management company.
It's really unbearable.
No one can live here, but the owner still demanding his rent.
Your property manager is trying to charge him more than $2,000. He shouldn't have to pay a dime.
Now Help Me Hank investigates.
This tenant has not been treated fairly. This tenant has been treated horribly, and somebody needs to be held responsible.
Tomorrow at 11.
Kwame Kilpatrick is at it again, launching yet another bid to get himself out of federal prison. The former Detroit mayor is representing himself and asking for his sentence to be reduced or vacated. The feds will have to respond to his request by September 5th.
Detroit police searching for the man who stole phones from a Cricket Wireless store on Grand River. Video shows him snatching 2 phones right out of an employee's hands and then running off. If you recognize him, call police.
A young girl with special needs saved her own money to buy a bicycle only to have it stolen. But 2 Trenton police officers came to the rescue. After taking her police report, they went out and bought her a brand new bike.
A grandmother attacked at a Milwaukee gas station by 3 teenagers. The woman was walking to her car when a girl ran up from behind and pulled her to the ground. Then 2 friends joined in, trying to snatch the woman's car keys. The struggle went on for about 4 minutes before the teens ran off. The grandmother has a fractured elbow and will need surgery. So far, no arrests have been made.
One look at the video and it's hard to believe no one was seriously hurt. Video from a traffic camera in Kansas shows the moment a truck rams into a barrier wall and bursts into flames. It's not clear what caused the driver to lose control, but after the impact, others stopped and got out to help him. He only suffered minor injuries. A man leads police on a wild chase in Southern California in a stolen car, and police are still working to take him into custody.
Yeah, this had the newsroom watching for a while tonight. You see the man driving erratically around the docks at the Port of Los Angeles. Eventually, he ditches the car and begins climbing to the top of a crane used to move shipping containers. He's now sitting on a catwalk dangerously close to the edge. We can't show you a live picture because a short time ago he stripped his clothes off. Police are trying to negotiate with him now.
Seems like there are always car chases in L.A.